Well, I had a really deep thought right now, but I just got it thrown out of my brain because my sister's such a free spirit, and it just like catapulted me somewhere else. But
change your world.
I just me, my sister, and my girlfriend and my best friend. One of my best friends, we participated in an ayahuasca ceremony last night, and it was just so incredible. And I may or may not post this later in the future. This is all just
Who fucking cares?
I just want to
talk about this shit, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to hold this in my brain. Now that it's fresh, I want to be able to put it out there so I can paint it as best possible. So I'm gonna tell my journey, how it went for me, and the things that I experienced. So this whole ceremony was amazing. There's just so much, so I have to gather my thoughts for a second. But I'll start off with as little as I can.
You were telling me some important shit.
No, that's gone. That's gone. I don't remember none of it. You threw me off with it.
Listen,
but it's okay. You've done this to me 100 times tonight.
What did it?
All right. So listen. So ayahuasca was so sacred, but I didn't know this to begin with. We all came here. Besides my sister, we all came here a little anxious and not knowing what to expect. My sister was free from the beginning. She was all excited and just open.
I'm doing shit what happened.
So we get here, and as soon as we went to Christian's house, he's the one that guides the ceremony, and the guide is so important throughout this whole process. And I heard this in many YouTube videos about reviews for ayahuasca, but I never really you can't capture how important the guide is until you experience it, and that's exactly what happened. And Christian was an amazing soul. I've learned so much from him last night, and with other people around there, with my sister, with everybody. We all learned together, and you learn many things. But anywho's, I was just open to so many things. So I'll proceed to tell you what I felt going into it. So you do a couple of things prior to actually taking the ayahuasca. Things that bother, it hurts. I can't tell you the plant medicines names because I don't remember, except one, which is rape, which is this powdery thing that is tobacco based, and you get it shot up through your nose and your mouth and all that, and it sucks really badly. And he does it twice, one through each nostril, and then you exhale. And then you just like, it's a shitty feeling, but
Getting messy over here.
But then the pain subsides, and you start to feel such release right away, and kind of like an openness feeling, which is openness and letting go is huge throughout this whole process.
Like a fucking pistachio.
And so we did that. So then that's when I started feeling the openness feeling. It was a good introduction to this whole process. Then we did another thing, and I can't tell you the name, but it was eye drops that they put in your eyeballs. What he did was like, so I was laying on the bed comfortably, like this, and he would put the eye drops here. And then he would do some type of prayer with smoke involved, like Sorry, Mayo? What's it called? No, the smoke.
Sage.
Sage.
That was white sage.
And it was nice. So anyways, the liquid is laying there. The liquid is laying there, and then he says, okay, open your eyes. And then you open it for a second. It comes in, and then you close it again. But as soon as it comes in, it just hurts so much. It's painful, but it's a good pain, and it's for a purpose, which I realized afterwards, because at the moment it was not fun at all. Then we did a little bit of. There's 10 people involved in this whole thing. There's 10 people involved through this whole thing, and we're watching each person go through this whole process. The whole thing took about an hour, and it was just very interesting. I was trying to get myself to go into the vibes, because my brain was not prepared for none of this. I'm not used to this kind of stuff. And like I was saying before, it's important to say, Eddie and my sister are probably the most spiritual people that I know, and I'm like halfway to that level that they were prior to all of this. So I came into this whole thing not as open as they were, And
but you've always been open to it.
yeah,
It's just
I
that
was
this
open. I
time,
was open, but
You got your cherry pop.
but yeah, but life environments and things like that, and society. You'll definitely, if you do ayahuasca, you will realize how society like blocks many things from you, many energies, many things that you could be open to that really matter, really mean so much. So let's proceed. All that happened, the 2 first plant medicines, and then we proceed to do ayahuasca. And each one of us come up. He gives us a prayer, and Christian is just, he's there to try to really help you. He's trying to break you the whole time. He's trying to embrace you, and he's trying to. It's almost hard to explain. I'm trying to put words into it, and anybody will tell you that the words.
He's a teacher. He's there to teach you.
Yeah, he's a teacher.
What you need.
He's
He's your middleman.
He's got so much knowledge.
That's what a shaman is.
But I'm getting a little sidetracked, so I go, and then he's there trying to, put good spirits that come with the ayahuasca. He gives me the ayahuasca. It's pretty freaking disgusting. Not that bad though. I gotta say, mushrooms taste a lot worse in my opinion. And
Or was there in chocolate?
yes, that's true. Later the next morning, as crazy as it sounds, we took a little bit of psilocybin mushrooms, and we took a golden teacher, which he infused it with the chocolates, and it was slamming. Yeah. Oh, Eddie's spreading right now. Eddie's spreading over there. I can't zoom it in, but anyways, so
Snapchat fool?
no, I don't want to Snapchat. This is for me or potentially to be uploaded.
Snapchat you can zoom. Is that?
Oh, no. Actually, if I had the other camera all the way around, I could zoom in and out.
I didn't know it was gonna be like that.
Yeah.
I don't say that.
So all right, you don't say it. So I take the ayahuasca. I go and I sit down and. Nothing's happening. Oh look, the cat ate the food.
The cat. What did I fucking tell you?
All right, hold on. I'm really trying to get into this. I don't want to forget my thoughts.
You don't know. Leave it there. Just leave the food
I take the ayahuasca. I go and lay down, and I'm trying to get in the spirits, and I'm allowing, and I really am coming to her very graciously, and building a trust, and I want her to know that I desire her because I did so much, and. Whatever. Anyways, so nothing happens.
And the right dose. Always make sure. Look, this is a big dude right here, right? He needed 3 ayahuasca little, like they're shot cups like this. I needed 1, but I took another half because like I just appreciated her that much.
Yeah. And
so I was like 1.5.
But it's not.
But
It's not
I'm
almost.
smaller, you know what I'm saying? Like.
It's not. Well, he did mention that, but he also mentioned how.
And I didn't purge, yo. I mean, I'm lying. I did, but not. I didn't like purge. I didn't have diarrhea or I was slightly nauseous, but I've been doing the work. I know this is about you, bro. My fault. I just want to say it to all the people out there because a lot of people are gonna get this information and they need to know that it's different for everybody. It's what's gonna work for you. She's just gonna do what's good. And what did I do? I don't got my book right now, but you know what I'm saying? Like I write. That's just what I do.
Yeah.
And I wrote a shit ton. You know what I'm saying? That's my purge.
Yeah.
I write. So bring a fucking notebook if you have to.
But he did mention something about size being a factor of how much ayahuasca you should consume, but at the same time she works in a very very mysterious way. Sometimes, for example, Irene, she didn't feel it at all that night, but she did feel it. Everybody felt it, no matter what, even if you didn't journey, which by the way, let me translate a few terms from you that I've been learning through here. When we say purge, we're talking about throwing up, but
releasing.
But,
it's just releasing. So you don't really
but we
say
give it a name
throw
of
up.
purging
It's just
because
purge.
throwing up sounds like negative. There was so much positivity that came with the purging. It was so liberating. But I'm getting sidetracked again. By the way, this whole thing has no structure. We just decided to pop this video up, and my sister was like, just record. So we're doing that right now. So there's no structure, and we're just trying to gather our thoughts with all this whole thing. So, anyways, how's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
We're laying there. We're all laying there. I'm not feeling it. So time passes, and I'm starting to like vibe with and mingle a little bit with everybody there. It was strange at first because I didn't know what to expect, and I felt like I needed to be laying down, but the whole time I was fighting it because I just wanted to stand up and walk around. I didn't like that feeling of like just being on the thing. So now I know for next time I'll do whatever the hell I want because I had a feeling, a preconceived thing from all the YouTube videos I've been watching that I have to be like
something like
I have to feel some type of way.
There's people that fucking see aliens and spirits and stuff like that. Great, that's cool if that works for you. Me, I already know that spirit is there. You feel me? Like, remember I told you, like, my mom was with us? I felt her. I felt her space. I felt her right here. She's always right here. Like, it's us. My mom's right here. I just began grabbing her, holding her, and I was praying. I began purging. I started crying.
Yeah, but I want to lead up to all this, man. Because there's a foundation to explain this. I'm trying to depict it for people like me because 28 hours ago, I was a little blind. I was never open to this. I heard about it. I read about it. But I never really grasped it. So I'm trying to depict it as best as possible, which I might not be able to. There's nothing just as experiencing this. So I'm still laying there and I'm not feeling it, and it's so amazing. Like just one thought that just came to my mind. I just feel like I needed to talk about it. I never really expressed myself as much as I would like to, and it's crazy that this video right now so far has been 11 minutes and 30 seconds. I would never even talk. I would never jab a jaw about something so much, but there's so much to say and so much to learn. So let me go back on track. I'm still laying there. I'm not feeling it. I take long story short, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because I know I'm talking too much about other stuff. And I take the second cup of ayahuasca. Mind you, to give you perspective, that's already a lot. Two cups is a lot, and it still didn't work for me. And I take my third cup, and I go back to laying down, and 45 minutes pass by, and I'm like, wow, I'm really not feeling it. You know what? Maybe it's just not gonna happen, and I'm not even mad because just the energies that I was feeling being in there and being around that vibration and being around such a sacred environment was fulfilling in itself. And so whatever, I gave up and I decided I'm just gonna close my eyes because I barely rested. I was the whole transition to this ceremony was a little tough for me, Eddie and Irene, especially for Eddie. He didn't get to rest at all. He had 2 hours of sleep because of his job schedule and how he had to do things after work, and him getting up at 2 a.m. so he could come to my house so we can go to the airport. So I think that was rough. It was rough on us. So anyways, I ended up just deciding I'm gonna go to sleep. I haven't felt it. I'm not gonna feel it. Everything's okay. I close my eyes and 10 minutes later I get woken up by something. I don't know how to describe it. It's just my brain was getting reactivated because I felt it. So I open my eyes and then I'm like, whoa, okay, something's here. I felt the presence, the presence of Mama Ayahuasca, and that's what we call her out of respect, because you'll understand if you ever do this, but she's real. She's something. She's an entity, and she's a healer. We're all healers, and so she came to me in this way. This is how it's depicted, and I want to elaborate a lot on this because it's said on a lot of videos, but it's not. I think there's a key aspect that needs to be put out there when you explain certain visuals that you have. So my visuals were there's this thing called Alex. There's a artist named Alex Gray, and he does a lot. He's a journeyer. He's got a lot of knowledge, and he's experienced a lot. And he does a beautiful artwork that depicts a lot of like the potential visuals that you get in ayahuasca and DMT and psilocybin mushrooms. And I started seeing that kind of stuff coming through my that's the visuals I was seeing with my eyes closed. And it was just incredible fractals and sacred geometry type of things. And what I was getting at is that all these visuals. Here, Mayo, give this to Eddie. He's going to get in.
Too late.
Hold on.
Oh, alright.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, I got
thank you. There's the keys. It's right there. It's right there. So, Mayo, come join me. So, because now I'm gonna carry on to everything else. I'm telling them right now how I started feeling Mama Ayahuasca. So she came to me with those beautiful imagery, and
geometry.
yes, yeah, I mentioned that, and but what I want to get at, and this is important to know, is that all these visuals are so irrelevant to the feeling, to the experience of going through it. There's something behind the visuals, because I remember when I was hearing about this kind of stuff, I kept thinking in my head, who gives a fuck if you're seeing a couple of triangles and beautiful colors that are unimaginable?
Like an expansion of this?
Yes, like that.
It's an expansion of it, though.
It's just beautiful things. But still, to me, like to a person that hasn't experienced it, I felt that. I was a little closed-minded to it. But then I understood once you experience it, because you feel her. And another thing I felt is her inside me, and I could see how some people could get scared and maybe take this as a bad trip, but that's why you always keep learning that you gotta let go. You learn how to let go really well throughout this whole thing, because that's what it's meant to. But I've been like my sister said, I've been conditioning myself a lot for that, because I've been reading a lot about that. I've been trying to learn how to let go. And
you always have to find understanding behind shit. You always have to title it.
Yeah,
that's why
so
you've been doing that a lot. It's all good. We all do it naturally, you feel me? But some things just can't be explained because there's magic.
So, exactly, there's magic in there. And I know it's hard to believe. I know this is all sounding to a lot. If you haven't done any kind of psychedelics or never went into deep meditation, I know it probably sounds to you like some fucking hippie bullshit, because I've been there, but it's not. It's real, and it's just so real. So I feel Mama Ayahuasca inside me, and she just starts healing me. She starts showing me things, and opens me up really well. Then I decided to start going to mingle with Christian and my sister and Irene and Eddie and everybody. And then Christian, just when he initially talked to me about certain stuff prior to the ayahuasca, I wasn't grasping it. But then ayahuasca opened me and allowed me to take in this information. So when I started listening to him again, then it all made sense. And it was just a very profound experience. I got many good benefits of it, and how I'll end it. There's a lot of things that happened throughout that whole night. A lot of things, but how I'll end how my trip went is I had the purging feeling, and it was stuck inside me, and I really wanted to purge, but I'm probably sound like I'm repeating myself a lot, because I said this story a couple of times. I said to my sister, I said to Christian, everything like that, but not that I cared about the feeling of actually releasing that throw feeling that was inside me. I didn't really care about that, but I sincerely felt the baggage behind that was in there with me. There was baggage there. I knew it was built up, and I know what you're thinking if you haven't done it. Again, you're probably thinking no, it's not just that. It's way more. It's way more than that. All right, so a big thing that I know you're probably thinking right now is that with vomit, you're taking it so literal, and I know I did. I'm like, what the hell is this person talking about? Baggage being involved in your vomit. It's literal. There's nothing else but vomit. You're just throwing up what your body's rejecting ayahuasca. That's it. Negative. After about 2 hours of holding this feeling in, I finally decided, okay, I'm gonna let go, and I'm gonna try to purge. And I went to I went to Christian. I told him, listen, man, I feel like purging, and he was there right away, trying to help me, trying to guide me to get me to purge, because I was not really allowing it. I guess I kind of was fighting it, even though I wanted. It was a subconscious fight, because I really wanted to. I really wanted to let go of that baggage. And Christian sat me down. He did some more sage on me. He was gonna have me actually gulp like half a bottle of water, because it induces the ayahuasca to come out. But he told me that it's better for it to just happen naturally, and I agree with him. So we waited out a little bit longer, and thanks to her, I ended up purging graciously. It was such an amazing feeling. I probably did I purged probably a half a bucket full, but it was probably a gallon bucket kind of deal. So half of that was filled with all that baggage and just darkness that was inside of me. And I feel very liberated after that. That was one of the greatest feelings ever. And but yeah. And after that, it was just magic. After that, just talking with people. I met so many incredible humans we all talked about our experiences. There was a couple of people there that was also their first time, and there was a couple of people that were experienced, and the ones that were experienced, you could just tell, they were so open, and they were already ready. They're open, and they have so much knowledge, so much things to teach you. And by that kind of stuff, I'm talking about there's so much, there's just energies that you start feeling, and you talk about certain life aspects, and how basically what she's trying to do is teach you how Mother Earth is really everything for us. She's nurtured us, she's given us everything, and we just have to be good to her, and try to help other people. Also, empathy is a huge thing that I experienced, because you might see a lot of dirtbags out there and shit like that, and instead of being angry at them and shaming them, maybe it's a good idea to just maybe feel bad for them and try to guide them, because what's the use of shaming them? You're just gonna further anger them and make them more bitter than they are, because that's actually a lot of the reason why people get maybe the way they are, is a lack of love. I need to I'm gonna end up doing this more. I'm gonna journey more, I'm gonna learn more, and you just get a strong yearning desire to wanna evolve more, but with the hopes of being able to help other people, because I know what it's like, and I know what a lot of people feel, and you kind of want to make them feel good too. For example, I wish I would have done this a couple of years ago maybe, but you always hear she comes to you at her time, and that's how it plays out, and that's the best way for it to be. I think she did come at the right time, even though I could have used a healing maybe earlier in life, but it played out perfectly, because I got to meet Irene. Who knows what would have happened if I didn't, and she's the greatest. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna just cut it off here, but there's so much to learn. And I will be back. Goodbye. Love to all.